is kind of growing whispers that perhaps, his time, or he may not have the luxury of time to mould this side in his image.
They were up against a team this weekend who also struggled to put Georgia away in the Nations Cup. So it's not world beaters that they're up against this weekend by any stretch of the imagination. So there must be a quiet Welsh confidence that certain people who've been talking up Ireland all week and talking down Wales are going to be put right back in their place come Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I did feel like I had to come out swinging today, boys, after what you said. It's upset a few people over here in Wales. But it's strange, isn't it? This Wales-Ireland dynamic, ever since Warren Gatland got the Wales job, and everyone knew about the Eddie O'Sullivan issues and the way he left the IRFU, and it almost became theatre, this fixture. 2009, when Warren Gatland erroneously claimed that Ireland were the team that Welsh players and fans hated the most. No one believed it. It was absolute nonsense. Everyone knows that England are the team Welsh players and fans hate the most. Ireland, there was always this mutual respect for. And I think Wales and Ireland went on this kind of journey together, in that we started becoming successful at roughly the same time. And there was that period where Wales and Ireland were joint favourites for virtually every campaign. At 2008, Wales won the Slam. 2009, Ireland came to Cardiff and took it off them from under their noses, and the drop goal duel and all that kind of stuff. So there's always been this, or at least for the last 10, 15 years, this frisson to this fixture. And I don't think there's ever an outright favourite for that reason. We often do well in Dublin. You often come over here and do well in Cardiff. But I'm just thinking back to the last few fixtures, in particular that one in the Nations Cup, when it was similar sort of squads going up against one another. And Wales just didn't appear to have anything in their locker at all. So for those reasons, I think a lot of people are a little bit fearful of Ireland coming here and doing another job on them. The only positive thing from a Welsh perspective is, as you've mentioned, Ireland aren't exactly world beaters at the moment. They struggle physically against England. They still, like Wales, seem to be in a bit of a transitional period under Farrell. He hasn't quite yet put his imprint on this squad, I don't think. So Wales won't be feeling utterly despondent, but I still think Ireland are the favourites on Sunday, albeit by, I think the bookies have got them at a point or something.
There's roughly 3 points here, so maybe it's one there, and that would make a bit of sense. Ross, we did seem to make a bit of a stir with our comments during the week. People obviously have nothing better to do with their time.
We're very sensitive in Wales, and sometimes when that temperature rises, people can't tell the difference between what's tongue-in-cheek and what's not. But funnily enough, as I was about to go to bed last night, I was tweeted by someone saying quite angrily, "What are your thoughts of these guys over the Irish Sea and stuff?" And I said, "Well, actually, I'm speaking to them both tomorrow morning, so I can address it with them head on." But you seem like very polite and mellow gentlemen. So
did we touch a nerve? Is that what happened? Is there an element of there's a fear in Welsh rugby that actually you might be on the precipice of a disaster, but equally, maybe
the nerves in Wales are always red raw ahead of a Six Nations tournament. You don't have to touch a nerve; they are already pulsating and raw and ready to be wounded. So yeah, and I'm sure you're well aware of that. I don't know what it is about our national psyche, but it's okay for Welsh people to criticise the Welsh rugby team. That's a national sport, and we're very good at it. But if someone else dares to do similar, then woe betide them.
Can I just say, Ross, we've got an exceptional record. Before the first game of the 2019 Six Nations, we said that no England player would get into the Ireland team. And I don't think Ireland laid a single glove on England ever since. And we single-handedly changed the rivalry. So congratulations in advance to Welsh Rugby on their dominance in this rivalry over the next few years.
Well, in my back pocket, see, if this was going to get a bit tasty, I did have all the significant victories, Wales over Ireland, of which there have been many in the last decade. But I've not had need to bring those out.
Oh, look, we're all too familiar with them. That's why if there's a slight, in any way, alteration in the balance of power in this rivalry, we're going to enjoy it for a change. Ross, good stuff. Thanks a million. Cheers. Enjoy it.
My pleasure. Take care.
That's Ross Harries there. He's the presenter of BBC Scrum 5 and broadcaster of BT Sport and Premier Sports as well. If you've missed anything this morning, you can get it back on the OTB AM podcast. Just search for OTB AM wherever you get your podcasts and hit the subscribe button You'll get the podcast in your feed around about 10 o'clock, and it's time-stamped as well, so you can flick forward to just the bits that you want. The best place to get it these days is, of course, on the OTB SPORTS app.